Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, here at long last, the ancient Airfix forward command post, plus some other bits and pieces, because everything's a shambles. A slight change, I suppose, but I think an Airfix classic. When this came out, I was really pleased. I think I bought a couple of them in the end, and I was at that age where you just buy one of something, because you're collecting them all. This one, lots and lots of room for variation, or scope perhaps is the word. So we're going to make this, and hopefully it will come out okay. Yeah, we'll find out as we go along. Some of you may have noticed in I think the Commando Jeep film there were some bombed out buildings in the background. Here's one that wasn't in that. I know that sounds wrong, but we'll get there in the end. It's very old. I bought it, I reckon I bought this in the 90s and then didn't do much with it. We'll come back to that because there's another one underneath. And I just have collected in these boxes, which won't undo, junk. And basically junk about broken architecture. I can't put it much more intelligently than that. Because I had some scheme which I can't really remember, but it seemed to be something to do with yeah, broken buildings. So here we have the other one, and this is full of the bits and pieces from that. So what I hope I'm going to be able to do is find the bits for the broken building, at least that's that bit, and be able to build that. And then there's all kinds of other junk which, well, who knows if I've got all of that and what or not. So there's the contents. Inspiring, isn't it? I learnt, or I'm learning, that when I do things like put stuff in a bag, I need to write on a little bit of paper what's in there, because I come back years later and I haven't got a clue what I was up to. So there's all kinds of junk, and I will reveal what's what is junk. This looks like a lot of the building. Some tent stuff. Lots of oil cans. Boxes. More stuff. We're in the bedroom now, but the colour contrast here is really good. These, I've kind of found the whole model, I think, give or take a couple of parts that are missing, so we can see what we're supposed to have. So loads of picks and shovels, bikes, cable reels, corrugated iron, signposts, not keen on those bases for the signposts, and basically the building itself. I've got a funny feeling a mate gave me some stuff and this might be part of it, and it had a big base, which we'll see. Here we have the very interesting base for the Airfix command post or something. I've just taken it out of the box and I can't remember. Anyway, it came as part of a it's all gone. Doesn't matter, some kind of D-Day box set. Anyway, you get a Tiger tank and a Sherman and some soldiers, and you get the little ruined house. The centre is almost precisely what you got in the 1970s when the ruined house first came out, and now this has been added, and I believe it's been added by Amera Plastics or something, and very good it is too. I was going to undercoat it in a dark brown spray, but that just ran out, so I'm going to do black. Now, while I was doing some weathering on a medieval stone tower, and I had a very nice Farrow and Ball mahogany paint, I've just done a couple of bits on this, only where I feel sort of mud is being thrown up, and I don't really think it's an appropriate mud colour unless you're in Belgium or Bedfordshire, but that was Greek. Basically with this now, I'm just running very thin layers of very, very watery paint over this, one layer after another. I started off with a really good blue-black of which a fair amount still remaining. Accidentally some darker red black has occurred, but that's adding some kind of tonal quality. And then intentionally I've added layers of a more kind of sandstone dust as kind of thick particles of paint in water. This is all acrylic, and that's going okay. What I need to do is a kind of brick red, and then start dry brushing it. So I think it's going okay, all in all. And then maybe I'll put a little bit more blue-black in, but there we go, look at that. 1975, I remember that coming out and I was absolutely thrilled. And I enjoyed making it and used it a lot in all kinds of things. So obviously a good year, 1975. Music was a bit ropey. Now I've got the chimney breast attached to the main wall, the gable end I suppose, and here's some other walls and a kind of dividing wall which is a bit smashed, but it's handy. Oh, and the roof's gone on, which hopefully means the floorboards have. There they are, just appearing round the corner. So it comes together really quite quickly. Now with a little bit of extra colour I just clipped the roof and the floorboards in, by the look of it. I'd mucked up the sound, so I've darkened things down. Usual dark brown, that'll be fine, I'm sure. And you can see the quality of the detail actually on this, because the sun is so low, and there's the roof with the tiles, which is very nice. It'd be great if they did another one with slightly different roofing and tiling, because you could mix and match the parts. And there we are with them stuck back on with some colour, which is sort of bringing it to life a little. Just starting to get a feel of the thing now. And just placed on the base, so you can see it's sort of taking its place, and the characters all starting to come out quite nicely. Yeah, I think this is good. I still like it. It's very good indeed. Just a little undercoat. It looks a little bland at the moment and possibly a little shiny, but it is sort of based on the box cover, which I will dig out in a moment and show everybody. So I'm going to whiten the plaster areas, because there are some, and I'm going to run a little wash in to some of the stonework. I seem to imagine it was brick, but it is actually a wobbly stone appropriate to sandstone. So a few more layers of that kind of thing, and a bit of detail on the roof and the shutters, and it should start to look a bit better, because it looks a bit... So with all that wonderful sunshine, I thought before we go any further, let's go out and have a look at it in some really good lighting. And there it is. It definitely looks better outside than in. I think that's something we can safely say on this one. And it doesn't get blown away for a change, but I think we can see that it's just coming along. I feel very nervous watching this back. It really does look as if it's going to take off, but it doesn't, so we're safe. There we go. A little view from above, which is quite good, and then back down. Shame I mixed that badly. Here we are, done, really. There's a few things need explaining, I suppose, because as ever, I'm probably not going to obey everything. But right now, all the parts that I've got are in the correct places, according to the box lid, and the instructions, which are somewhere. Both are for the smaller landscape. That's alright. Obviously everything is in a complete jumble, but that's pretty typical. Now, what I've done is kind of do my best, I suppose. A couple of things. I'd like to use this as a background for various other models. So we're going to see it again, and we're probably going to see things develop. So we won't worry too much that some things aren't quite perfect. But there are things, first of all, basically in the window there should be a radio and a radio operator. I don't have either of them, and I always thought the operator was in a weird position, so that's no loss. Secondly, the wounded man seems a bit out of place. So I haven't painted him up. I'm going to take him away. Yeah, eventually we get there. Similarly, there's a lot of road signs. There's one lot there, one there which I can understand, one there, and one there. And they're on these giant bases which I think are a bit ugly, but also make them portable. So they are going to go and be applied selectively as the need arises. I have just done basic painting on them as well. I think I've got little transfers somewhere that I could put on those. I'm certainly not going to go painting them. I do like that one, and the one that went there, I think I could probably put a hole in and route it in that, which is what I would do if I were making one of these in real life, building sandbags and being told to put road signs somewhere. Then there's this chap. I actually don't want any figures, not permanently anyway, because it would be really difficult if we've got this, what is probably a British motorcyclist, and I painted him up in khaki and green, and there were a load of Italian tanks going by or something. So he's going, although he's very nice, I have to say, and I think he might get used for a good few other things. So apart from that, we're pretty much there. These are a bit fragile, so I will take care of them and apply them as necessary. So I'm really stripping this back now. One of the things I want to point out is, according to the instructions, this corrugated iron roof goes at a bit of an angle, obviously so that water drains off it and drains to the right towards the wall that it's rooted in. The other thing is, there's no way of getting that to actually happen. There is a little ridge down there which you can locate these in, and there's a ridge along there which is horizontal, not sloped. So these are levitating. By having them raked up at an angle, you can see inside and see all the stuff, which I've tried to do as accurately to the instructions as possible. So I'm thinking in the future, for a bit of realism, I might have to put a wooden strut on each corner and a bar underneath. Bar isn't the word, is it? But anyway, you know, here comes the cat. Hello, I'm neglecting you this morning, aren't I? So there's that to sort of build up on. Apart from that, I think it's... Oh, there's one. Oh no, there's two. I don't like this. I never did as a kid. This is an extra set of sandbags, and the light. They are really, really well sculpted on the outside, but on the inside they're hollow. And it would be very easy to have created another face and just put it in. I could fill it with goodness knows what and shape it and all of that, but actually it is in excess on here because we've got enough sandbags as it is. I did like it there actually, it's quite good. So it has options, but yeah, that just doesn't seem Airfix. Airfix usually have that little bit greater attention to detail. And finally, these. On the box, find the box. They're painted in a Mickey Mouse camouflage, which if it's a forward command post, I doubt if they brought the Dulux with them. So I've seen a lot of corrugated iron just in plain olive, and I've added a bit of weathering and wear and tear and that kind of thing, and the cat wants out. So in the end, here's 3 bits of corrugated iron. They're showing up as sort of 1 small one and 2 big bits. A lot of olive has gone, a lot of muck has been added, a bit of raw, not silver, kind of gunmetal, bare iron, a bit of rust, and then I added some glue and some thick yucky bits of paint, kind of stuff that gets claggy inside the pot lid, because junk will slide down there and build up. So as a bit of scene setting for future models, I think we're there. That's me satisfied. Could carry on, could go on for ages with this stuff, but I think I've done it. Just one other problem, I've pushed it around so much, it's kind of warped a bit and then cracked, so in the end it's going to end up being glued onto a board. So I've got my optional extras for later, and then I've got these that are going to do something else, and who knows, a fleet of motorcyclists or something. Obviously I've got a couple of them now. Could set up a little hospital thing somewhere. And don't Matchbox do an ambulance? I know Airfix used to do a kind of RAF ambulance. That'd be alright, wouldn't it? Yeah, there's options there, aren't there? Well, it's done, and it's time to have a look at it. I've taken it outside. It's a bit of a hazy morning, so the light's not as good as it was before, so I'm glad I took the model out a couple of days ago, because the light was better, wasn't it? It's all about light. Turner would tell you about that. And here I am, twisting the thing round as if by magic. I'm being a bit heavy-handed. I'm bowing the plastic base, but never mind. It's all, do you know, I'm all right with that. I can stop at this point and say it's pretty much done. It will serve its purpose when we get around to doing a few more tanks and things. And I think this is a real masterpiece, this one. Not by me, but by Airfix. Oh, that's a twig. Yeah, I think they did a really good job here. And it does open itself up to an awful lot of variation. You can do so much with this one, which is probably why I've bought another 2 or 3, I think. You can glue all kinds of walls on here and there, can't you? And cover the thing in all kinds of stuff. And then obviously you can glue figures all over the show and vehicles. So this, I think, was an imaginative step by Airfix. Well done. It's a shame they didn't really pursue that, but I think 75 is when you can perceive they're starting to run into various problems. Also, I've done a lot of shots of this outside. This is going to last for about 2 or 3 minutes more, because I really want to take it in. I'm going to look back at this one. I want to see what is and isn't working, colour-wise, highlighting, all of that, and see where this can be taken in the future. So, a lot for me to think about on this. And as I say, I've got other ones in the box, so we might see more of them and see what customising I get up to. So very good all round. There is just one minor problem, and you'll see it now. Somebody's feeling neglected. Well, are you being neglected? Yes, you are, aren't you? This happens a lot. So anyway, meanwhile, oh, she can get down. On the other side, it's nowhere near as high. So here we are with the last couple of looks at this. And I think it comes out very nicely. It's a bit photogenic, isn't it? Unlike some of the models that I've made. The Mustang in particular. Yeah, that was a bit messy. But there we go. A nice little ruined farmhouse. Superb. Well done, Airfix. I do not know what's coming next. I do not know when it will happen. Thank you for all the comments, by the way, everybody. Yeah, stuff, life, all of that. So see you soon.